Yo, we live now. We live, King. Let's get it going, man. Hey,
So,
for those who was out there, man, sorry for the technical difficulties that we had. We were just trying to get something straightened out with our new page that we started, which is called Black Men Discuss. So make sure y'all subscribe to that as well as Street Colonists. Pretty much we're gonna get it going tonight, man. We got a very interesting topic that we're gonna talk about. Start off with introductional wise. The biggest thing that I'm promoting is on our page going forward, and I probably touched bases on it last week, was that this page is basically a discussion panel that we wanted to put together, and we wanted to have a platform to discuss current events exist pretty much that we do day to day, man. It pretty much the thought of it started because me and most of my boys, we pretty much get together all the time and we sit around, we have water cooler conversation. You know, whether we out together, whether we with our families, whether we doing certain things, and we talk about things that happen in life. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do, talked about, is let's create a platform to where we can sit down and we can actually discuss these things and discuss these topics, and we can build on them and just have a platform where we can just sit back, man. And then now by doing this, by doing the webcast, we have something tangible to always go back. So, you know, I just felt like it was a good opportunity to do, man. And I wanted people to join in, and I wanted people to be a part of it that I currently knew, as well as other viewers out there, man. You know, it's a lot of different pages out there that's doing a lot of different people out there that's starting their own personal pages as far as webcasts, and they having discussion panels. And I've been seeing it for a long time, and I've been had the idea, but it was just something that, like I said, I talked to my man King about it, and something that we wanted to do going forward.
man, we've been talking about this for years.
For years, sitting around talking about this for years, man.
Then I called you like, yo, we gotta get it started.
And pretty much we were texting about it. We were just like, man, let's get it going, man. We can't keep talking about the situation. We got to get it cracking. So on, and we was like, yo, every week we want to do this at Thursday. Right now it's working for Thursday at 8:30 p.m. So tune in every week. We're gonna have different subjects that we're gonna talk about. We open to having people to come in as well. I can just add you in on Google Hangout. You can come in as well and be a part of the discussion panel. And then what it would do is, going forward, it would allow me and King to pretty much mediate, also know exactly, you know what I mean, like what we're going to talk about, have the questions, and then let people chime in on it, man. So we're going to try to keep it as professional. We're going to try to keep it as fun. But at the same time, we're going to want to be realistic. We want people to be themselves. We're going to be ourselves. We're going to joke. We're going to talk. We're going to give our opinions. And that's what the fuck it's going to be about, man. We're going to have a good time doing this thing. So without further ado, first topic, man, and as y'all seen on the flyer, as well as when I sent the text message out to a lot of different people about it, it's been a lot of talk and discussion, talks as opposed to YouTube, different social media outlets. I've been seeing it everywhere. Is pretty much the amazing feedback that we've been getting on this Kendrick Lamar DAMN album. For those who haven't listened, or for those who are unfamiliar with who Kendrick Lamar is, Kendrick Lamar is a rap artist, hip hop artist, man. Honestly, most creative, innovative rap artist that we have, and probably generations, man. I'm not even gonna categorize this kid, man, just in our generation, because I'm actually experiencing it and listening to this artist. I feel like Kendrick could ride in the 90s era, the early 2000s, shit, even dating back to the 80s, bro. His mind is just so complex, and the content in which he raps about is so innovative. It's so unique. It's something different. It's a different sound for your ear. So we want to talk about the DAMN album, man, and we want to talk about can Kendrick Lamar be considered as the GOAT? Is he the GOAT? A lot of people are saying yes. I don't know. I mean, that's something that we wanted to talk about, man, and we wanted to pretty much give a breakdown on how do you decide who is a GOAT and who isn't a GOAT. What is the specific material that pretty much, quote unquote, that you can go by to say what defines the greatest of all time when it comes to hip hop and rap. And then you also have to look at what hip hop and rap is nowadays as opposed to what it was. So there's a lot of analytics that you have to put into place. There's a lot of comparison analysis that you have to go through. There's a lot of different things that you have to actually do to, I feel like, to give a complete breakdown and to actually give a complete observation on what a greatest of all time or as far as an artist should be. So yeah, man, like we're gonna get into that. And the second subject that we're gonna talk about, which is the part 2 based off the discussion last week, is sapiens, human existence before us, our ancestors. Was our ancestors more intelligent? Certain level of a deeper intellectual sophistication as far as how they interacted with their civilization? The things that they do at that particular time, was that pretty much, let's say, outdated to our generation? Have we got smarter? Are we more sophisticated when it comes to technology? Do we understand science better? Have we evolved as human beings better? Like, do we have more knowledge, and what are things that we know now that our ancestors didn't know, and what are things that they know now that we lost as years passed on and as time evolved and as human evolution took place? So that's something, the second subject that we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna focus on those two tonight. So King, you want to just go ahead, man, and just touch bases with the family, man, and tell them, like, pretty much your thoughts going into the Kendrick Lamar album, and basically what you thought about it.
Oh, it's my turn to talk.
Hey, I get the introduction, man. Fuck it, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it, man.
So I mean, I'm gonna start off my point with saying I wasn't even a Kendrick fan, to be honest with you. The first album that I heard was Mad City, and I thought that was a pretty, I thought that was a pretty dope album. It felt like Boys in the Hood on CD for me. You know what I mean? Just giving us an insight into LA life, gang violence, and everything like that. And then I kind of went back and checked out a couple of his mixtapes. And I was like, okay, I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was dope. I didn't think he was like anything special, but I thought he was dope. I mean, because I wasn't really, I guess I'm biased because I'm from the East Coast, whatever, from Philly, so I'm a little biased, my East Coast bias. So I'm not really was into West Coast rappers. And so then he dropped his next joint, and that was okay too, with the Pimp the Butterfly joint, right? That was his next one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
the first, because when we talk about his albums, we really, because he had some previous material before that.
He had some previous stuff,
yeah, which is the mixtapes. But his three commercial albums was Good Kid, Mad City, and then the second one was The Pimp a Butterfly. Now he got Damn. So these are the pretty much the ones that people are debating about. These are the ones that people actually you look at his progression as an artist in the last 5 years, and you look at these last 3 albums. So these are the ones that question comes up. People really want to know, you know what I mean? How did Kendrick progress? And if he is considered the greatest of all time, what is his body of work?
Right.
What has he done up to this point? And then when you evaluate Kendrick, what is the material that he's discussing? What is his content? How do the critics evaluate? Like, is he critically acclaimed based amongst his peers? You know what I'm saying? As far as
so, let me interject real quick. So let me finish where I'm going with it too. So like, yeah, he did have one little joint, the little Untitled album that he put out. Where he did that performance. I think, I don't know if it was the Grammys or something. He did a performance of it where he came out as the prisoner and shit. He was in the chains. So I was like on the fence when because I wasn't feeling the Pimp Butterfly joint. He had a couple tracks on there that grew on me, but the sound of it with the jazz and I see what he was trying to do there, but I felt like it was too much. It didn't feel like a hip hop album to me. But this Damn album, in my personal opinion, is probably the best album out right now. It's probably the best album I've heard. Probably the best album I heard, and I mean, that and the Rick Ross is all I listen to right now. And I listen to Drake too, not gonna hold you. But the Damn has been on repeat. Like I probably listened to I probably listened to the track on there, God, probably at least 5 times a day. You know what I'm saying? That's
amazing fucking track, man. I mean, amazing track,
an amazing track, man. And then, like you say, he has a lot of different levels, and you can see the progression in his career. And I also like the fact that he attempts to he challenges himself as far as in his art form and his storytelling, his reduction, the sounds that he uses. I mean, this album where he changes the beat 3 or 4 times in one track, like, you know what I'm saying, and switches up his flow with the beat every single time, and he makes the transition seamlessly. So he set a new bar. Now, like I said, this might be
Drake. But hold on. Yeah. I ain't mean to cut you off. Drake been doing the transitions since his first commercial album.
True.
You think about it.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
And to be honest,
I remember the shit back there when he dropped the song on his first album that he came with after So Far Gone. On Thank Me Later is You Fancy Now, and then actually had that transition from there. Yeah. And then it was a couple tracks that he did that. So Drake has been notorious for doing that. He's done that on every single album to have the transition. So I'm not gonna say that was a creative aspect, but the way that Kendrick did it from an MC, because Drake, the difference between Drake and Kendrick in that, and I'm not gonna go into a Drake and Kendrick comparisons, because I know a lot of you motherfucking bloggers out there, y'all love to entertain that. I see it all day, every day. And me personally, these are two different artists, two different music genres, in 2 different ways of how you evaluate these, and have 2 different sounds and 2 different eras of music. But I'm not gonna go deep into that. Drake does unique and great transitions from hip hop to R&B, and I feel like there's no nigga that's in the musical game right now that does it better than Drizzy when it comes to that aspect. But we just gonna focus more on the hip hop aspect. When it comes to these transitions from a hip hop standpoint, this shit is on another level right now, man. And I'm not saying Kendrick is the first nigga to ever do it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, we can't act like Kendrick the first to do it, because he's not the first to do it. But I think, you know what I'm saying, the way he did it on this album was special. It was special. You had to take note of it. He didn't do anything inventive. He hasn't reinvented the wheel or anything like that. That's, you know what I'm saying, let's be honest about that. He ain't done nothing that we never seen before. But it was the first album. It was the first album that we've seen in a while that was very well put together in its entirety. Yes. Like, normally you don't find an album that is that complete in its entirety, where you can listen to it all the way through. You can't really find any faults in it. The content of what he's talking about is relevant. You can, you know what I'm saying, you got tracks in there you can bob your head to. You got a little bit of radio tracks on there. So just the whole album is a great album, to be honest with you. There's no, you can tell he put his time in producing it. And
it's a great album. Yeah. And let me tell you something. The one thing I like about this album that I found very unique is the way that I talked about to a couple cats in text messages this week. Kendrick found the way. See, a lot of people can make great albums. It doesn't necessarily mean that the album playlist and track selection flows the way it was supposed to flow.
Yeah.
Particular album that I found very unique, that I haven't seen or experienced in years from a hip hop artist, is that not only did Kendrick, and you know what, to really go a step further, Kendrick has always been very, very crafty when it came to his playlist selection. Because if you look at Good Kid, Mad City, that was a motherfucking story. I mean, Kendrick essentially told a story, told Boys in the Hood. He put Boys in the Hood movie inside an album.
And Damn is a story too, though. Damn is a story too. Is a story too.
It is. I'm gonna get to that. So that, to me, when I remember when he did that, that to me showed me, like, you know what? This nigga Kendrick is for real. And that was an eye-opener to me, because before then, I had heard a couple tracks of his, and I was just like you. I had heard a couple of his mixtapes, and I always knew that he was a great MC, and, you know, he could spit. And as far as his wordplay goes, he was very crafty with his words. He was a wordsmith. He was a very good lyricist. But none of his musical content I felt like was appealing to me. It was always something missing, whether it was engineering, whether it was beats, whether it was something. And at that particular time, when I first discovered Kendrick and got put onto him, I was heavy into Cole, which I still am.
I'm about to say,
I was heavy into Cole.
We could go all night about Cole because he's still my number one as far as just overall MC to me. Now I think
I'm not mad about that, because the difference is between Kendrick and Cole is Cole has always touched bases on that paradigm of a conscious backpack rapper I got a little bit of hood in me, because and the niggas in the hood still can relate to me. He's always been on that line when it comes to evaluating the MC and the artist. So Cole is one of those artists. Difference. What type of, I know street niggas who listen to nothing but motherfucking 21 Savage and this quote unquote new genre of hip hop mumble rap, but can pop a J. Cole in and be like, yo. And Cole is, and this is why it puts him and niggas like Cole and Kendrick, and it puts these niggas in a league of their own. Because
can I say one thing? I think there's one difference between I think J. Cole, and the difference between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar to me, right? I think J. Cole album was a great album. He went platinum, no features. It was a different type of album. I don't think it's as good as Kendrick's album is, right? His last album. But he got another project that's coming out soon. But I know his last album it's not better than Kendrick's track. But I think the clear difference, it's not. I mean, you put them next to each other, it's not. So he got a challenge face now to compare up to, Kendrick, put something out that's as comparison. So that's his challenge right now. But I would say, if it's pure raw spittage, like if we was to do some freestyle battle shit, or just put somebody in a room and say, let's spit, I would rather hear J. Cole. I'd rather hear J. Cole spit. If it comes to mastery, as far as like, I think Kendrick is a better musician, not even musician, but artist as far as like overall craft. Minus the fact that J. Cole makes his own beats. That's the only thing that puts him in another, he makes his own beats. But as far as like the mastery of the MC, knowing what to say, so pure poetry, I would say. Let's say pure poetry. I think, because that's what rap is poetry to a beat, right? That's what rap traditionally is, right?
Yeah.
It's poetry to a beat. So pure poetry.
I
think Kendrick is a better writer. So we say like the way he puts words together, the way he puts his poetry together, I think he is a better writer. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could put his shit in books. Just like you could put Tupac shit in books. You know what I'm saying? I think you could put Kendrick shit in books. Like he can have a whole book full of poetry. But if it comes down to like raw spitting and flow, I think Cole's is better. But it's also about, you know what I'm saying, apples to oranges is who you like more. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And pretty much for the viewers out there, not to go too much off of the comparison between Kendrick and other artists. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to stay on topic here. Focus on first, and what we talked about is the Damn album specifically. Back on that, Kendrick came out on that album. I felt like like I was talking about earlier, his playlist selection. Kendrick came out off on fire. I mean, this nigga came out the gate running with the track DNA. So I pretty much knew what was about to go in. I mean, I felt like his introduction in that particular track, he wanted to let the listeners know, and the people that was out there, the spectators and the people that was out there listening to this album know off the rip, like, listen.
This is a black album.
I'm coming at niggas' neck on this album, and I'm not playing. And you could feel the motherfucking emotion. You could feel the energy that he was inserting into that track that was pretty much creating the pathway that was going to lead down towards this album. So the way he came out off the rip in this album, it pretty much lets you know, like, you know what? This shit is about to be some heat. Let me just sit back, grab a drink or a beverage. If I'm in the motherfucking car, I'm taking a road trip. Let me just sit back and let this nigga speak to me. So when I first heard that, I was like, he coming out with some shit. coming out with some shit. He dropped some shit. Then he came out with Y'all. I was like, oh shit. Y'all track has actually been very controversial as of late. I don't know if you heard about that, King.
No, I ain't heard
because Kendrick says on the Y'all track, I am an Israelite. I am not black no more. That word is a color. Basically saying that pretty much, listen, using because niggas who are not conscious, they're not going to catch that, right?
Yeah.
The Hebrew Israelites felt like Kendrick was addressing them as a particular cult or a particular movement. But he doesn't say I'm a black Israelite. The Israelites are the only ones who addresses themselves as Israelites, so they felt like pretty much to them in reference. But a lot of people are saying he's an Israelite, meaning that he's not, and he says, I'm not black. So he's not tying himself to being a black Israelite. But when he says, and he denotes that, listen, I am not black, I don't basically say I don't associate myself with that color, that's almost sound like this nigga's a part of the Moorish Science Temple. So it almost makes you realize that he's trying to pretty much manipulate the listeners, making their own decision or trying to figure out where he's going with this. So that's been kind of controversial. And if you haven't got a chance, or the listeners actually haven't got a chance to pretty much hear that line in that Y'all track, go back and listen to that. Let's dissect that. And you can go to YouTube and look at other discussion panels, different people they're talking about it. They spoke about that shit on Black Magic 363 page, and they talked about that shit also on been either the Breakfast Club or Hip Hop DX. They spoke on that aspect. So that was the particular controversy on that track. Then he hit niggas in the head with Element, right?
Element's that track.
Element is a dope ass track to me. Like, I love the way that track is, because basically that track is throwing subliminals, but at the same time that track is just kicking you some flavor. Like, you can sit back and rock to that motherfucker and be like, you know what, this shit is lit. Like, I'm loving this. Like, I can let that ride. Like, and it has a nice beat, has a nice vibe to it, and the chorus is catchy. Then he comes back and hit niggas with Feel, which I feel like is arguably undisputed one of the best tracks on the whole album.
Yeah.
Listen to that track, and I can really. I was in the gym working out the other morning, listening to Feel, and I'm really felt like I was taking off to another planet. Kendrick had took my ass, put me inside a bubble, and pretty much locked me in the bubble, and the lyrics that was in that song actually stuck in my brain, and I was really and like I said, this is stay on subject. Kendrick's so goddamn unique and special. As the most abstract concepts, and his wordplay and his lyricism is so creative that a lot of times when I hear Kendrick rap, he may say some shit, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a fucking hip hop head. There's a lot of things that's in tracks that I catch that the average ear doesn't catch, especially for niggas who really don't understand vernacular, and they don't understand they can't articulate certain words the right way or understand how things are put together. So Kendrick is a very abstract nigga. So if you, a lot of things that
he say certain conscious concepts too that you got to catch.
A lot of things that he may say may go over the average nigga head. There's a lot of shit that Kendrick does on a consistent basis that I have to go back as a fucking listener and listen 3 or 4 times, because it may not have flowed that time. Even though the track sounded dope, I may not have caught what he said. And I gotta go back and listen to see, okay, whoa, shit, did this nigga just say that? Like, that's the kind of shit. So when you defining a GOAT, these are special characteristics and aspects of an artist that you just got to factor in. Can this artist take you out of your element, or take you out of your particular realm of evaluating the MC, and take you to another level that's going to make your fucking brain work and understand things better than what the average ear is used to listening to, which is obviously the mainstream radio. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes the kid so goddamn special. And then from there on, the album just flows. And like Keem mentioned earlier, God is one dope ass track. Dope track. Dope track.
Dope track. That's my passion fruit.
What's that?
I said that guy track. That's my passion fruit. Everybody love that Drake track. I put God on. And just vibe to that joint. I just put that joint on repeat, dog.
Nah, God is dope. God is dope. Like I mean, I love that track. That's probably arguably my favorite track too. And you know what's so crazy about that track? I don't listen to the motherfucker so much because I don't want it to get tired of it. So I know I gotta play something else on there. Like I may have to go and play Pride or something like that just to get my mind into a different element, because if I play it, I don't want to wear it out. And then if I become too attached to it, if more niggas start liking it, I'm gonna get mad because I want the track for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just one of those type of niggas.
Yo, I'll be like that too. I can't stand when somebody else like the track I like. And you think that you like, especially the track that's not, or if the radio pick up a song that you like, you like, the radio, that shit on the radio now. I heard that song 2 months ago. Oh shit.
I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna get rid of it. It's no good to me now.
Like, you don't gotta go. But let's trans. We talking about. We want to say, is he the GOAT or what makes you the GOAT? Let's break.
What makes it go? Let's get into that. Hey yo, and real quick, before you get into that or whatever aspect is, for those that's out there viewing, we're actually going to call in some people that actually want to be a part of the webcast as well. I haven't got about y'all out there as well. People that has sent me text messages today that said they do want to get in on the discussion panel when we're talking about that. So after we get into how you define a GOAT and what things what criteria is used to evaluate the greatest MCs of all time, or quote unquote, then we want to get people to come in, and then we're gonna build based off of that for a little bit, you know what I'm saying, before we go into the last subject, which is Homo sapiens sapiens. So go ahead, King, talk about it, man. Like, I mean, what do you feel is your definition of a GOAT, and how do you evaluate a GOAT? It doesn't make a difference what time era we live in. We can go from age in the 90s. We can go a little bit past that when you're dealing with the NWA, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Rakim, KRS-One. Or, you know, then like later you get to go to age, the Tupacs, the Biggies, you know what I'm saying? Then you your Jay-Z's, your Eminems. So, I mean, your Scarfaces. How do you evaluate a GOAT? What is a GOAT to you?
So, to me, to be considered in that category of one of the greatest of all time. All right, I think besides Tupac and Biggie, because their careers were robbed of them by you know what I'm saying, by their lives being cut short. More so Biggie than Tupac. I think longevity, relevancy, right? Got to be relevant over the time, right? Lyrics, flow, of course, fan perception, what the people think of you, because you have a lot of dope hip hop artists that no one know of. Like, you got a lot of underground dudes. There's dudes right now I know in Philly and New York, whatever. They can spit for days. They dope, but no one knows who you are. So you can't be, you know what I'm saying? So relevancy, fans know about you. And then, I mean, and then just pure lyrical content and the ability to make songs and the ability to tell stories. You got to be able to tell stories. I think that's key. All the great artists have been able to tell stories. From Andre 3000, Biggie to Tupac. I mean, even Jay-Z, DMX. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a good storyteller because you're supposed to be translating what you see on the streets and conveying that to the general audience and the general public that might not be from that life. So you have to be a great storyteller. And you know what I'm saying? That's what I would end it off. It's like the main thing. You have to be able to convey your story to the people. I think that's one of the things that make, you know what I'm saying, you have to be in that category of greatest of all time. You can spit for days.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that you can spit for days, but if you can't tell stories, then you're not hip hop, because that's how hip hop started. You telling a story. You see what I'm saying? And you interacting with the people and the crowd. You know what I'm saying? The early MCs. You know what I'm saying? You talking about your people and your man. You know what I'm saying? You putting everybody on the early MCs. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't tell stories, you can't talk about what you seeing, then you're not dope to me. You're not an artist. So I think that's important.
So
And
basically,
so,
you say to run that back. Basically, you said longevity, lyrics, flow, fan perception, relevancy, storytelling. And I'm gonna just go ahead and chime in two more things. I'm gonna say critically acclaimed, because I feel like artists have to have a peer evaluation, because based off of other artists as well as other critics out there is very people who are professional critics, people who are professional musical evaluators. That goes into a certain level into the criteria. Then I'm also gonna say a certain level, like you said, almost to a certain degree with the fan perception. There has to be a certain level of commercialism success, right? You have to factor that in there, because a lot of times motherfuckers be like, well, what's commercial? I mean, shit, that Hammer album, man, that was one of the motherfucking greatest hip hop albums in the 90s. Niggas don't want to give Hammer credit, but commercial success based off of that Hammer Time shit and jeans, and there was certain hip hop symbolism that he had personified and created during that era. Hammer brought it, man, with that first album. So I'm using him as an example because niggas like MC Hammer, niggas like Nelly, niggas like this. There's a certain category of artists who had commercial success who don't get mentioned. Greatest hip hop. Not saying that they deserve it, but you have when you're weighing certain artists, these are things that have to be evaluated with Tupac and certain things, because these are artists who essentially had commercial success.
Let me chime in on a little bit and try to maybe clarify a little bit what you're trying to say, because I think me and you both are hip hop purists, right? Yeah, we hip hop purists where we think of hip hop in the form of an MC. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Or someone actually spitting, right? Or just being lyrical, right? So in that aspect, we hip hop purists. Yeah, I think all the other guys, like you named MC Hammer, you know what I'm saying, Nelly, I mean, even Future nowadays, you know what I'm saying, they fall in a different, mumble rapper, it falls in a different category. It's still hip hop because it has hip hop influence as far as beats and music, but the lyrical content will not put you in that category.
It has diminished. The lyrical content has diminished.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is why I am so critical when it comes to rap, because rap has essentially pop nowadays. Yeah, the purity of the lyricism and the purity of the foundation of which hip hop and rap started on, it has diminished so much to now evolved into a commercial. You can't even call it true hip hop. And this is why we even have these fucking discussions when it comes to Kendrick Lamar's. It's because he's giving you elements that you just named. He's giving you all these elements as an artist. Sure. You see what I'm saying? And me personally, this is why I feel that when you're talking about Tupac, you're talking about these great MCs, these are certain artists that I feel like, you know what I mean, like that they stand apart, because the way I evaluate hip hop may not be the same way another person may evaluate hip hop categories, but I also look at what are the diverse aspects of a hip hop artist that can he give his fans, or can he give people? Like, meaning, for example, Tupac, for example, right? As an example, because you can always use Pac as a motherfucking example. So I'm gonna just use Tupac as an example. Pac started off as a background dancer.
Yep, Digital Underground.
Don't know that part of hip hop history. Pac started off as a background dancer. Then Pac ended up using that as a platform to get his foot into the hip hop door and show people that he could spit. What makes Pac, I'm not gonna say Pac was the best lyricist of all time, but as a complete hip hop artist, Pac gave you artistry. This is what you want as an artist when you evaluate a GOAT, the greatest of all time. Hip hop was based on breakdancing. It was based on graffiti. It was based on DJing. It was based on could you rap to a beat, structure to it. It had fashion. Hip hop has all of these essential elements that you put into a combination. Then you have rap, right? Then you have rap. And a lot of times we have a tendency to where we like to divide, and there has to be a division between hip hop and rap as far as genres of music, when really in hindsight, they have a combination of a lot of different of the same elements.
Right.
It's more so your purity of the actual spoken lyricism. When we talk about hip hop itself, there's so many different facets of hip hop that you can.
Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is the culture, and rap is an element of the culture.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's a great way to define it. Yeah. Now, as far as the GOAT goes, evaluating these particular categories, a lot of motherfuckers that really come into play with those categories.
It's not many. It's not many.
I think a lot of times we as evaluators of hip hop, when we talk about a GOAT, we don't look at artists from so many different regions and so many different places of the United States. From the down south, you look at the history of UGK, Outkast, the Ghetto Boys, and Scarface. You have, goddamn, man, you got some greats down there, man. You had Killer Mike when he first started off, man. He was out there. I mean, you got some T.I. back in the day when the innovation of trap music, when he came out with that aspect in the early 2000s.
And Jeezy.
And Jeezy changed the game as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then you got the West Coast.
I think Jeezy invented trap music, bro. He might have invented trap music.
I would say Jeezy took trap music to another level. I would say T.I. was the creator of trap music, because niggas was never, T.I. used the word trap
music for his album. Yeah.
Actually introduced the world to the word trap. And that's why I have to give T.I. his credit where credit due, because T.I. used to be my favorite rapper for years. You see what I'm saying? Until I got exposed to so many different artists. And that's flip-flop throughout the years. But then also you got to look at the West Coast. You got E40, you got Too Short, you got Ice Cube, Ice-T. I mean, these motherfuckers, I mean, shit, a lot of people don't even want to give credit to Cube. Cube is a pioneer. And if somebody told me they put Ice Cube into their goddamn top 5, I would not look at them with a straight face. I would be like, that's okay, because Cube was the main ghostwriter for the arguably the greatest hip hop group of all time, the NWA. He left and had 2 platinum recording artists as a solo after NWA. So he had major commercial success with that. Then the nigga wrote scripts and movies. I mean, he's made movies. I mean, look at his artistry. Look at all the components and elements in which you break down the artist.
Cube's very intelligent, man. Cube's very intelligent.
And then you look at the birthplace of hip hop, man, the East Coast, your New York's, you know, the artists over there. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I mean, pound for pound, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Black Thought from the Roots is in my top 5. Dead or goddamn alive. It doesn't make a difference how you see it. And we can break it down from lyrics, we can break it down from commercial success, we can break it down from and let's not even talk about longevity, because the Roots been around since 1990. So I mean,
but they miss it now. I don't want to be biased because I'm from Philly. The Roots is from Philly, so we got to be objective. He's missing some of the stuff on the list. You know what I'm saying? Critically acclaimed. You know what I'm saying? Fans don't necessarily know about Black Thought. A lot of people don't know about Black Thought. You got, like you said, you got to be a hip hop purist to know about Black Thought. He hasn't broken into the commercial platform.
But the thing is, they know about Black Thoughts because they know about Roots.
Yeah, everybody know about the Roots. Do they know about Roots because of him? Do they know about Roots because of, what's the drummer name? I can't remember my man. The drummer. Questlove, exactly. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. You don't know about Questlove without knowing about Black Thought. Because Black Thought has been the main writer and the main MC of that group. Quest Thought is the actual drummer. He's the musician.
Yeah,
so Quest Thought has the most evoking
it's his look.
Facial recognition and look because of his afro. But that's just something you tied to Questlove as far. I mean that's something you thought Questlove. You tied to him because of the roots. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you think about the roots and you think about. I mean, of course, right off the top, that's somebody that you can always be like, yeah, you know, Questlove is the guy with the fro. Oh yeah, that. But Black Thought, we're talking about people who. When I'm talking about evaluating the GOAT, I am talking about motherfuckers who know hip hop. Because if you don't know hip hop and you don't know the history of hip hop, and you pretty much you can't give or analysis of a hip hop or what the fuck a GOAT is and how to define a GOAT. And that's my story.
But that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true though. I mean, like I said,
how is that not true?
I mean, you can say that, right? But we're talking about it's the artist's responsibility. If you want to be considered one of the greatest of all time, to get your name out there to as many people as you possibly can. So we're talking about, and we could say, you know, record labels have a part to deal in that. We could say people not wanting to go commercial. We could blame a lot of different aspects into why certain people blow and certain people don't, right? But to be considered in that aspect, according to our list, you have to meet certain criteria. Now, I agree with you. Off of pure MC skills, Black Thought can go pound for pound with everybody. It's not just him. There's a lot of other people out there that can go pound for pound with anybody. Talib Kweli, for me, is also one of them. You know what I'm saying? I love Talib Kweli. You know what I'm saying? I think his album, Beautiful Struggle, is one of the best albums I've ever heard in my life, and I still listen to it. But he's not considered one of those people because he never went mainstream. They always stayed in that conscious flow in their realm. And it was okay with that. And that's cool. You see what I'm saying? Well, I think we all talk, when we talk about certain criteria to be considered, we talking about your well, let's start early. We talking about your two, all conversation always starts with Tupac and Biggie, right? So I don't know why, but people before them get shitted on. But the conversation always starts with them. I guess people don't consider
it starts with them in our generation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're dealing with true hip hop heads and people who are pretty much more deeper than us, and they have a little bit more deeper knowledge and thorough history of it, then that's when you have your KRS-Ones and your Rakims and your Ice T's.
Yeah, your Eric B's and all. Yeah, you know, they start talking about them. I mean, another person I feel like don't get a lot of love is Nas. I think Nas don't get a lot of love. I think you can't, you know what I'm saying? Nas,
it depends on who's evaluating Nas. You feel me? Like
yeah. And I feel like Nas has longevity, but I think he fell off towards the tail end of his career. I think, though, to me, if we was doing a list right now, that beats all the criteria. And I can't even believe I'm about to say this, though. It would be Tupac, Biggie, and then Jay-Z. And I'm not even a Jay-Z fan. But Jay-Z at 40-something years old can drop a track tomorrow and still be relevant. And it's not many people that can drop a track and still be relevant at his age or at this time. Nobody want to hear Busta Rhymes spit no more. You see what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear you guys spit.
I'm just to cut you off. I'm on the phone because people are hitting me up or whatever.
They trying to get in.
For those who haven't been watching live, basically a lot of people got the link to you know, the other page or whatnot.
See, I told you let me pull it from there, Joe. I told you let me do it from there.
So I'm basically sending some information out right now, trying to get people on right now, man. And like I said, family, you know, we just getting this shit going, man. You know what I mean? Like we gonna tweak some screws and we gonna plug and pull and get some things straightened out as time go on, as we evolve with the platform as well, man. And you know, it's you got to start from somewhere, man. So when it comes to these technical difficulties and certain things like that, but we working that out, man, as we get better with this situation. So, and for those who don't catch the live stream, you can always go back and watch it too, because it uploads immediately right after we shut it down for the broadcast. So you definitely gonna see it, and you definitely gonna get a chance to be able to write into the comment section, subscribe, and also keen your personal feedback on what you thought about it. But King, pretty much what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to get some of the people that actually wanted to be on the panel and see if I can add them in if they're available. So we're gonna take a few minutes to do that while we got a little time on our hands. All right.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
I'm gonna add. Let's see. You would stay on, man. Get some people in here so we can point of view. And we're gonna get it, we're gonna keep it going, man. I feel like we're having a great discussion tonight about this shit, man. The Kendrick Lamar album. And I really want to hear people break down too after we finish the panel, man, just to see y'all thoughts and feelings about these artists, man. And y'all thoughts on it, man. You know, I feel like hip hop is a very, very powerful and influential piece that's in our culture, man, and it plays a major part. And when you have an artist that's like Damn, when you have an album that comes out like Damn, and give or take looking at it, man, it's a great piece of work, man. You know what I mean? Like it's something that doesn't come around that often, and when you see it, man, you have to appreciate the greatness. I mean, motherfuckers really have to sit back and really appreciate the amount of energy, the amount of thought, and the amount of creativity that Kendrick put into his album, man. And paying this shit, Kendrick in the GOAT discussion, if I didn't feel like he didn't have the material or he didn't have certain aspects about him as an artist to even be considered that, even after 3 albums. The ones, the Biggies, the Tupacs, especially Biggie only had 3 albums. It's pound for pound. We argue who's 1 and 2 between Biggie and Pac, and Biggie only had 3. So, yeah, man. And you have to look at the elements in which he's doing it that's never been done before, man. You know, back in the day, man, we only had certain amount of ways that people can actually get music. One of which was CDs and cassettes. Now we have evolved so much now into we have live streaming. Music is so much more accessible. It's so much more accessible to people to be able to get now. And they have so many different ways. We have YouTube, we have Spotify, we have Pandora, we have goddamn Tidal. We have so many different elements of iTunes, ways that we can stream music. Even motherfucking bootleggers who cheap to go out and buy the album off of iTunes or one of these places or somewhere like that, Amazon Music, Google Play Music, and get the music. So there's so many ways to get music and actually get hip hop nowadays, as opposed to your Tupacs, your Biggies, and your Nas's back in the day, where all they had was a cassette, a CD, and these motherfuckers were multi-platinum artists. Now, I mean, niggas did it when they didn't have the stream wave. So when you measure the level of success over the years, you know, these are things and elements that you have to look into, like when it comes to an artist, man. I'm sending out the invites now to some more brothers that want to come in that sent me information today. They want to come in and discuss on the panel. And this is what the platform is for, man. It's for building. Right now, the shit that we talking about, this is the shit that we enjoy. The shit that you people out there enjoy. The shit that you enjoy to view. The shit that you enjoy to do. And we want y'all to be a part of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can sit around and I can debate a nigga all day long about certain things. It don't make a difference whether it's sports, whether it's hip hop. When it comes to religion aspects, historical aspects, cultural aspects, whether it boils down to even I even touch bases on politics. I don't give a fuck. because I feel like the amount of knowledge that I have, I feel that I'm so multifaceted when it comes to these elements that I could join in any discussion when it come to these things. You know, I can have some type of knowledge of feedback to give to the people. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what makes me as a person. So just got a reply back from one bro. Let's see. Send it out again for another person. Yeah, man. So yeah, man, we gonna keep it going, man. Like honestly, like I love this, man. This is something we've been wanting to do for a long time, man. As far as getting that goes. But the invites is getting sent out now. And for the brothers that pretty much didn't get a chance to come in tonight and be a part of it, or if you have interest, send me an email or to terrence.banks1@gmail.com, or send me a text message if you have my number. Also, you know, you can also email at our page as well, blackmendiscuss@gmail.com. If you have interest in that, we'll get back to you as far as that goes. If you have a certain subject that you feel like you want to be discussed, some type of material that you want to give us to touch bases on, I'm open to it. This is what it's for. It's a discussion panel. We doing this shit every Thursday at 8:30. Tune in, man, and build with us, man. So King, pretty much
What's up?
Right now, who the fuck would you say is your top 5? Give it to me, straight and raw, uncut.
Top 5?
Top 5. I want to hear it, man. Top 5.
Jesus, tough. All right, Tupac.
Okay.
Jadakiss. I know I'm gonna forget somebody too. Who's gonna make me. I'm trying not to forget nobody. Damn. DMX.
Tupac, Jadakiss.
Tupac, Jadakiss, DMX.
Why the fuck does your top 3 so far sound so
Northern?
Yeah. Something a little more different, but that's cool though. Everybody has their own personal preference. I respect that.
I'm trying to be diverse. So Tupac.
I mean, you name some great motherfuckers right now. So like that's why I'm not mad about it at all. Now, if you said some crazy ass shit out here, you know what I mean, I would be looking at you sideways.
And I'm kind of in a mix because I put Jada and Styles P, the locks, minus Chic, but Jada and Styles are like,
yo, don't sleep on my nigga Chic. My nigga Chic can get out, dog. He can get out on niggas sometimes, but don't get it twisted.
I'm cool on the silverback, dog. I'm cool on the silverback, man. You gotta go. He's a goon though, but he gotta go.
Yeah, Sheik has always came off to me as that nigga that they just threw in the motherfucking group because he was a nigga that grew up with them niggas, and he pretty much deboed them niggas to the point he had to rap like they rolled for their nigga. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like a couple niggas is, man. You got a couple niggas that's with camps now that just want to be a part of it. They're not the main nigga. Like Kendrick got TDE.
Yeah.
Had who he had with them niggas. Meek got a couple of rundown niggas in his camp. Niggas that they just throw on the track just to spit. Knowing motherfucking well, the niggas ain't bringing in no fans. And you know, a lot of times it's crazy because these niggas end up developing the fan base based off of the exposure that they have from the mainstream artists or the bigger artists. So a nigga like Sheik may got about out there right now 10,000 diehard fans that we just don't know about from bummerfuck where else in America. You can fuck around, go over to Grand Rapids, Michigan to a concert in the goddamn Boondocks, and a white boy will be in there, be ready to knock your head off for Sheik loot. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beautiful aspect of hip hop, man. You know what I mean? Everybody can gravitate. Everybody gravitates and they relate to anybody that they feel is an artist that is special to them. You see what I'm saying?
So all right, this is about to be real biased. See, I was trying not to be biased, but fuck it. I'm just gonna go with who I listen to.
Yeah, man, do your thing.
Beanie Siegel, gotta go with C. Like I'm from Philly. I'd be remiss if I didn't put a Philly artist in there. You know what I'm saying?
Siegel.
So I gotta go with Siegel. I missed the old Siegel, but I gotta go with Siegel. Even though he didn't just nut shit as late. It would be either him or Freeway. To be honest with you. He kind of with me hand in hand as well. And then lastly would probably be I'm gonna go with somebody from the South. Had to pick somebody from the South, would be Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? He's my favorite dude from the South.
Damn, so you went 4 East Coast and 1 South in this list of yours.
I went West Coast too with Tupac. Don't give me that. Tupac is West.
See, and maybe that's another discussion for later on down the road. See, yeah, I don't put Pac as no West Coast nigga. Pac didn't get over to the West Coast to his last album, man.
Well, he grew up in LA.
Like, so and
that may be
LA,
though. That's what I'm saying though. He grew up in LA before he went out to Baltimore and did the performance arts school. So he wasn't always. He's originally from that side. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where he grew up. That's where I think that's where he was born. So
I thought Pac was born in New York, man.
I don't know. You got somebody else in the chat though.
Yeah, we got SK in here, man.
Yo, what's good, bro?
Yeah, what's good, man? I'm glad you could join us, bro.
Oh yeah. I told you I was gonna join y'all.
Most definitely. So look, we want to know what's your opinion. What's your opinion on Kendrick? Give us a quick opinion on Kendrick Lamar album, and do you consider K.Dot the GOAT? And if not, who do you consider who pretty much what do you use it to evaluate the GOAT? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's tough. The album was definitely fire. I can't deny that. The album was dope. But as far as the GOAT, it's tough nowadays because like you can't really count album sales because streams go into people going platinum and all that now. So it's kind of that's a thin line with me. But I definitely give him like top 5 though, top 3 actually.
You really do think you'll say K.Dot is top 3 of all time?
Right now.
No, not all time. I think we talking about like this day and age, like right now.
Nah, we talking about all fucking time, bro.
I don't think he's cracked that list yet, man.
No, he has. That's what makes this discussion so unique. When you look around to different blogs and you look around to different people, after 3 commercial albums, K.Dot could be considered. Is he a GOAT?
Nah.
Now this is the funny. Now let me throw something in real fast. This is the funny part about that, right? Because if you would have asked me after the first 3 DMX albums, I would have said DMX is one of the GOATs, right? So that's why I say longevity matters, because right now we don't know where the rest of his career gonna end up. Because DMX's first 3 albums were fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? 5 mics in the Source fire, platinum back to back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so it's like we got to see where he go, because he could fall right off the edge. He can, you know what I'm saying? So we got to see. Yeah. That's why I said longevity matters. Like SK said, right now for where he at his career, yes, he's definitely one of the top 5, top 3. You know what I'm saying? 2.
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, but longevity as far as like a whole out of everyone that's ever done it, you can't put him there yet. You got to be at least 40 before we start having that conversation. I need at least 3 more albums. You know what I'm saying?
And King, real quick, something is going on with your visuals. It's not showing. Like your picture's not showing up on the webcast right now.
Is it
so I don't know if you hit the button. I don't know if you hit the button to cut the camera off or what. Like your mic is fine, but you're not showing right now.
You see me?
But basically, man, to touch bases on that, I wonder why do a lot of people feel that Kendrick Lamar is considered to be in the GOAT discussion right now? Like, what makes him as an artist? What makes what makes some of these people break down him as an artist to be considered the GOAT? You feel me?
They're all they all young and haven't heard none of the older artists. That's why. That's one of the main reasons why. I can guarantee you. Anybody considering K.Dot as a GOAT is probably like 23 and under, 24 and under. You won't hear nobody like 20, 27, 20, maybe even 25 and over saying that he's the GOAT.
No, but SK, check this out. When I was watching Hip Hop DX podcast the other day here on YouTube, a couple of niggas that called up that was in their 30s that put K.Dot in the discussion of GOAT right now. And this is the reason that they said. They said all Kendrick 3 albums all had different concepts, and the lyricism and the albums were so powerful and impactful to the culture and to people, the messages, is that there's no way you can't leave this nigga out the top 5 or either leave him out the GOAT discussion.
No.
Because you gotta realize something. That was one of arguably pound for pound.
It was deep. It was
one of the most influential fucking rap albums that's ever been laid down, bro. You have to give credit. That album touched bases on so much shit as far as racial injustice, racial inequality. This is on politics. It touched bases on the cultural differences. It touched bases on the derogatory and also the positive aspects of the drug culture, the police culture, the white America, black America. I mean, that album fucked a lot of niggas up because niggas didn't see that coming. And they didn't see the creativity that was put into that album until after the shit ran through. Felt some type of way about it. Some people, because of the production itself wasn't what they specifically wanted. It was a very different aspect musical. And like I can see why a lot of people feel like To Pimp a Butterfly, they couldn't just it wasn't as musical as this album is right now. Like this album is more hip-hop-ish. But as far as the creativity and as far as the level of material and content put into an album, that shit was off the chain, bro. I mean, what it did.
It was. I can't front. It was deep. I had to listen to every track. Like I can listen to that whole album without skipping the songs, which I really do.
That's crazy. Yeah, man.
I would give
him
top. He could squeeze into my top 10, but like I said, there's so many other people before him that I just
right.
Man. It's just so many people before him.
Gotcha.
Not to discredit him or nothing, because like you said, his joints is dope. Like his albums is crazy, but it's just so many people before him that it's hard to squeeze him in there. I could, but top 5, he can't squeeze into my top 5.
Can't squeeze into the top. So really quick. So really quick. What is your top 5 then?
Got Jay-Z, Nas,
okay,
Big Pop,
yep,
and Jada.
Yep. And Jada
sounds pretty similar, minus the Jay-Z for me and Nas.
So let me ask you two niggas. Why would both of y'all considerably put individually J Kiss as in your top 5?
Jada's raw, man. Like Jada ain't get the credibility that was due to him as far as a spitter. I think he's one of the best MCs to ever do it, man. Like honestly, his old stuff, his new stuff, he's still relevant. Like Kiss can still get on a track now, and I want to hear Kiss spit.
Bro, I've never heard a whack Kiss verse.
I've never heard a whack Kiss verse ever.
I've never heard a Kiss verse and be like, oh, he could have did better.
I've never heard a whack Kiss verse ever. Like I've never heard him featured on anybody track and that jump been whack ever.
Really?
Like
Never.
I can tell you that about. I can tell you that about Jay-Z. I can tell you that about. I'd say that about Nas. Like, but I have never heard a whack Kiss verse. Now, like, yeah, he don't got the albums. Only had 2 albums, but as far as like he can make music though, he just ain't never had the full, you know what I'm saying, team behind him. He's been a loyal dude to his squad. You know what I'm saying? So, but people like you said, we talking purists as far as pure hip hop people know, they know Kiss is that dude. Just like I think Fab is that dude too.
I was gonna say Fab too. He another one.
I think Fab is that dude too. Like he don't get all the credit that's due to him, but people know you put Fab on the track, he gonna come with it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, he gonna body it.
He gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
I would probably say if it came down to me evaluating and saying who was in my top 5, I would probably say Tupac would be my number 1, and I'm not even a huge Tupac fan. And this is how, when it comes to this evaluation, this is how I deal with my biasness, right? Tupac would be my number 1 simply because as an artist, when you look at the full spectrum of a hip hop artist, Tupac gave you so many different elements as a hip hop artist. And Tupac has been the most iconic and influential until this day now. I don't give a fuck about these 21 Savages and these Chief Keefs and niggas like that. Like, because see, that's another discussion that we got to have when it comes to hip hop evaluation too. These kids nowadays, they evaluate artists based on validity in which they rap about. And this is what becomes so appealing to them. Even though they're only structured to talk about one particular material, which is the streets, and what they rap about in the streets they actually live in, that's all these young niggas care about.
All they really talk about, honestly, because the old heads rapped about the streets too. But the difference is they rap about fun shit. Or they actually rap. They make it seem like the street life is fun, whereas the old heads didn't do that. The old heads was like, they tell you about what they did, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't fun. It was dark.
It was dark. It was dark. You know what I'm saying? Now they talk about like popping pills and doing all. They make it seem like it's something to do. You know what I'm saying? Like to aspire. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. That's the difference. It's not with this age of music. They talk about basically they turn everybody into dope heads. Like everybody want to pop some pills and you know what I'm saying? Like lean, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Party, bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. It's different. You see what I'm saying? It's a different age. The beat, all the beats got to be something that you could dance to. You know, I compare to this. I watched the show Get Down, right? You watched the Get Down?
Yeah,
I watched it Get Down. I watched both seasons.
Okay, you remember we had hardcore gangsters dancing to disco, right? Like, yeah. I feel like modern day hip hop has transformed to like what disco was back then. Like niggas just want something they could dance to. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's real shit. I mean that's real shit. You got some of the hardest niggas that's in the club used to be doing the motherfucking
mean bug like this on the wall. I remember being in the Hendo like this. like this, like
word.
Now
you doing the young jock dance, meet me at the club shit. You know what I'm saying? It's niggas that supposed to be gay. You're right, and this shit has and it really has evolved into that, man. And that's why I mentioned. That's what I was talking about earlier in the webcast. Is that hip hop is like you said, hip hop pretty much is a variety of so many different categories that you have to factor in. And rap is just a particular spectrum or piece of hip hop. It's a break off of it. So if I say Pac my number 1, I would probably say my number 2 would be pound for pound. My number 2 would be Jay-Z. Has to be. Once again, a fan. Jay-Z's my number 2. Number 3 would probably be Scarface. Scarface to me, I mean, he been from his first album in 1990 all the way to The Fix. The Fix album is to this day now is in my top 3 albums of all time. And if niggas don't know about the Fix album, that's online. Download that shit. Go on YouTube and listen to it. That album was so motherfucking incredible. I'm not even gonna go into elaborate details on the situation, but
you already started.
Think about it. I mean, Face Mob was able to get Nas and Jay-Z in the heights of their beef on the same goddamn album, man. features. He had Kelly Price on there. He had, I mean, not only did Face talk about the trap on there, every single song had a story to it. I mean, you talk about storytelling. This is why I can never put Wayne in my top 5. He's never told a story.
Nah.
How the fuck can you call yourself the greatest of all time with a particular story? Yeah, everything that you rap about pretty much is metaphors and punchlines. It's no storytelling. Yeah, there's some descriptive aspects of the streets, and you talk about certain things. Yeah, you have been innovative in creating certain terminologies and certain slangs and certain trend-setting aspects, but you still haven't really told an official story that made niggas be like, wow, and had it flow through. The story flow through and connect to something.
I got a question for you. Wait. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Have we ever heard Drake tell a story?
Never. No, Drake tells stories. He tells stories.
His whole life is a story. Like he tells a lot of stories.
Stories, but he tells stories, but he doesn't tell impact stories.
Give me a track. Give me a track to refresh my memory. Give me a track. Name one where he told a legit story.
Where he tells a story.
Mm-hmm. Because if all those people you named, I can name the story that they told the name of the track. I can't think of one Drake joint right now.
I can give you a track where he tells a story, but I'm trying to give you a legit track that he tells a legit fucking story, like something that was like decent that I can say.
I think when I think of story, I think of like DMX and you know what I'm saying, where he talking about ATF. Boom, 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 open the door, ATF. So let me send my man downstairs to say he left. Like he told a story. You know what I'm saying? Or Jada Kiss Feel Me. You know what I'm saying? He told I grew up very athletic, hard-headed, thought I knew everything, wanted to do everything. You know what I'm saying? He told a story. When has Drake told a story?
Well, let me how about this? Let me redefine this. He's not necessarily told a story in the actual song, but he's mentioned life-altering or life events that happened or encounters that he's had with different people, but never really a story from start to finish where it flowed and it had some type of some type of symbolic meaning of it. You see what I'm saying?
Like something that was symbolic. You don't have a Kendrick Duckworth. Kendrick Duckworth, he telling a whole story, right? He telling a whole story. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that from Drake anywhere. We got that. We even got that from people like Meek. Meek even got songs like that. Tony's story, he told.
I mean, Drake has never had an album that you can put in and play from start to finish. He's had bangers.
Never.
But there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of songs. There's a lot of songs on his album that you could just skip. Even though they're decent songs to listen to, the album doesn't flow the way it's supposed to be. It's just different facts.
I feel like trying to do that on purpose. Them other tracks are just like filler tracks to keep you semi-interested, because most of his songs is top of the chart songs. And all them other tracks is just filler tracks because he had to fill in some space for them top chart songs to keep you interested.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you at work and you hungry, you know you got dinner at the crib and you just need something to snack on real quick and kind of hold you over. Them the type of tracks he put on his album with the top chart songs.
Yeah. I see where you're going. But do we define it as a great hip hop album? You see what I'm saying? Like, because his shit is so commercialized.
He's not a hip hop. He's a pop artist. I don't think he's a hip hop.
Yeah, I don't think he's hip hop.
He's a pop artist. Yeah, essentially, he's a pop artist. And at first, I would debate that with niggas, but as time went on, I've now to accept that Drake is a motherfucking international hip hop artist.
Yeah, he's a pop star. But the only reason I brought up Drake because a lot of the younger generation consider Drake one of the best rappers, which is
he don't write his own stuff. Never be.
Huh?
He don't write all his own stuff. He could never be one of the.
But a lot of like even a lot of these corny these corny mumble rap dudes consider him.
I mean,
one of the greatest artists, one of the greatest rappers. Like, and I think that's preposterous to me. Like how?
Yeah, Lil Yachty and Lil Uzi Vert both came out and said that Drake is greater than Tupac.
But
You gotta realize something. These are late 1990s, and these are late 1990s and fucking 2000 babies.
Oh, you also want to know another thing too? They suburban black kids too. They suburban black. Like Lil Yachty is a suburban kid. Lil Uzi Vert, I think he from Philly, but he from burb somewhere. Like he didn't grow up like most niggas grew up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they suburban, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they almost culture vulturing their own culture to an extent. You see what I'm saying? They're not really a part of that. They're not really a part of the culture for real. They like skateboarder type weirdos. You know what I'm saying? Not to say anything wrong with that, but you know what I'm talking about. They just different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
hey King,
what up?
Not showing, bro. And why is you not like visually? We can't see you.
Can you see me, SK?
No. Yeah, I can see you.
SK can see me. I don't know. That's your job. Cause I'm live. I can see myself.
I can see both of y'all.
I can't. Hold on a minute, man.
Yeah, that's your joint. And your volume chopping up, Banks.
My volume is chopping up.
Yeah, it's been chopping up for a minute, but I ain't saying nothing.
Hold on a minute, man. I don't understand that.
Why you trying to fix your joint? Why you put Big in your top 5? Because I'm always confused by that. Big had 2 albums. 2. Ready to Die.
But bro, like,
he had 2 albums.
Ready to Die, I can listen to straight through, song for song, like.
But it's 2.
Hands
he
down,
had 2.
like one of my favorite albums ever. But he did a lot of features too, though. He got a lot of features out there too, though. And
he did features, but he don't have the longevity. I feel like that's a New York bias. Like a lot of dudes, aren't they in New York, at East Coast? Like a lot of people from the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the East Coast, but they automatically just put Big in the top 5, and it's like, why? like he didn't earn it. He just only thing he did was die. Not the disrespecting, but he didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like
and I'm not downplaying his music. His music is classical. He probably would have been. I think he gets put there because people projected that he probably would have been. You see what I'm saying? So he probably would have been one of the greatest of all time. Like hands down, he never would have died because he was that good of an artist. Even from like the age of 16, he was that good of an artist. But you don't have the full body of work, so you can't. Like I just don't see why people do it when he only had 2 albums. Like I get it, I get why, but you don't have enough work. Like on the other hand, Pac was 25. Pac did like 4 or 5 movies. He died at 25. He did about 4 or 5 movies, like 7 albums. He wrote like 2 books, went to jail twice, and got shot 5 times, all before the age of 25.
But to me, all his 7 albums wasn't good though.
Man,
all 7 wasn't good.
I'm just Illuminati.
Honestly, to me personally, only like a good, I say 3 or 4 of them was pretty good. Was like legit good to me, and 3 of them were like superb.
And he got more classics than Big.
That's true.
Who you talking about?
Pac.
Oh yeah, he does have more classics. Well, some people, I mean, but see, this is where you have your generalized bias, personal biasness. Because if you talk to any NY nigga, 10, I ain't gonna say 9 times, but there's a high probability that he's gonna put Big.
They're gonna say Big or Jay-Z. That's what they're gonna mostly all.
That's what they're gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Because the material in which they discuss and based on the geographical location of these artists, this is something that's relevant to them specifically. To me,
it is Tupac, and then there's everybody else. Because like I just told SK, he died at 25 years old. And by the time he was 25, he had about 6 or 7 albums. He wrote about 2 books. He starred in 4 or 5 or 6 movies, can't remember how many movies it was. You see what I'm saying? He had been shot a couple times. He had went to jail twice. Like, this is all before the age of 25.
Gotcha.
When did he have? When did he sleep? Like when did Tupac sleep?
Pac
like he died
rest, man. That's what I think. I think that's what made Pac such an iconic figure when it comes to people, even fucking 25 years later, man. 20 years later, man, as an artist, because he was able to accomplish so much and be such a revolutionary an iconic figure to so many different people, man, that the impact that he made, I mean, motherfuckers was ready to take a bullet for Pac. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like Pac was just somebody that was just rapping about shit. There was certain aspects of Tupac image, man, or certain aspects of his lifestyle that was appealing to the masses. I mean, you could talk to white people, dog, and white people are just as much influenced as black people, bro. This is real shit. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they teach classes on him. He has college courses on Tupac. I took a class called Hip Hop Culture at Mason. We talked about Tupac for a whole week. For a whole week, it was just Tupac.
I took that course too.
Oh, you took that joint too? Yeah.
Just to put that out there. Shout out to GMU, man. Yeah, you know, they offering hip hop courses out here, man. You know what I mean? Just to teach people studies out here. So yeah, shout out to GMU hip hop class, man. Yeah. But yeah, this is crazy, man. You know what I mean? As far as him being able to influence a culture, man, and see how things have transitioned so much later. We just don't have an artist like that anymore, man. You don't. And
yeah, we got dudes that's coming close. Like I said, Kendrick would be the next closest thing as far as poetry goes. You see what I'm saying? Like,
hold on, real quick. Another thing to touch on the Big and Tupac thing. I think it's more so a geographic, because I didn't learn about Pac. I didn't know who Pac was until I got older and I started hearing like on the radio, all they played was like Biggie, you know, all the East Coast people. So it's not until you get older until you learn and start to appreciate the pop music for real.
Yeah,
that's true. I had a you know what I'm saying, my older brother listened to Pac, so that's how I knew. And then as far as like, I can say the same thing about down south music. I didn't hear a Lil Wayne until I got the union, 2004. I didn't know who Lil Wayne was. I didn't know who 3 6 Mafia. I didn't know who Pastor Troy, Scarface. I couldn't tell you who none of these cats was before I got the unit. I couldn't tell you. I didn't know. Only person from down south I listened to was T.I. because he came out with Rubber Band Man the year before I got there. Other than that, I ain't know. I couldn't name.
See,
they didn't even play that shit on the radio. They didn't even the shit UGK. They didn't even play that shit on our radio stations up north. You know what I'm saying? Now they play all that shit, but they ain't used to play none of that shit.
But see, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of as you mature and you gain more wisdom and knowledge as a man and as a person, as time goes on, you discover and come in and play different things. Like me personally, it's amazing to how I knew Tupac songs, I knew lyrics, I knew certain things when I was a kid or in high school. But even then, there were certain things that Pac was talking about that I could not relate to. I could not understand. To now, as an adult, as I listen to it and I go back and evaluate the lyrics that he was talking about. Exactly. It's so much more appreciative, bro.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah, man. But we're gonna wrap this up, man, pretty much, and move on to the next subject. We've been kind of talking about this for the past hour or so, man. So if SK, you want to stick around for that, you can. If not, pretty much the next topic in which we're gonna talk about, man, we're gonna talk about Homo sapiens sapiens, which I mentioned earlier. Did our ancestors have a better understanding and a better understanding of how to live? Were they more knowledgeable? Were they more intelligent? What happened as evolution began to happen over the years and thousands of years later to where we've transcended and transitioned to now in this realm of time? And do we consider ourselves, have we gained more knowledge or have we lost more knowledge as time progressed on? That's the question that we talked about last week and we touched bases on and we had to wrap up. But we wanted to pretty much touch bases on that tonight and get to the bottom of that. Keem did a little research, got a little information on that he wanted to drop to the people, to the viewers out there. And this is also just another aspect in which we touch bases on. We're not just going to talk about music. A lot of our discussions, we're not just going to focus on certain things in the culture. We're going to talk about historic aspects and talk about things that's going to broaden your mind and broaden the way you view things and the way you understand life, man. That's going to help you. And then you're going to take certain elements of these as a viewer with us, these things that you feel about the subject, and build off of it, man. It's not just some shit that we just doing just to throw it out there, man. This is real life things that are happening that we teach our children and that we can pass on for generations, because these are certain aspects that were, I felt like, were key things that our ancestors experienced that we should be utilizing in our everyday routine. So go ahead, Keem, man. Go ahead and get into that, man.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead, take your time, man. And basically, for those who didn't watch the webcast from last week or didn't go back and look at the videos on my page currently, we talked about little things as far as our ancestors having certain knowledge on certain things that they were able to do with little resources, you know, on creating the pyramids, the alignment of the pyramids and how they're structurally aligned with the earth, with the stars, the exact science and the exact math behind the structure of the pyramids. How were they able to do that? How were they able to be so intelligent to figure that out from a scientific approach? That now we still don't understand the chemical elements of the pyramid. We don't know what material exactly from the breakdown of what it's made of. And then we also don't understand how to replicate it, how to duplicate what they did and build off of that. And we are supposed to be the most sophisticated and the most intelligent creatures on this earth. Why is it that we've lost this knowledge over the years from supposedly the simplest things that were created for a reason or purpose, and we can't seem to get that? But yet instead we have so many technological aspects of our day and age, of our realm that we live in, of our paradigm, to where we're so advancing as far as cell phones, satellites, so many different things that we utilize and do now that have a major impact on our life and influence on our life. Why can't we go back and rediscover the things that our ancestors left for us, and why the fuck have we got away from that?
Reason I'm telling like,
you know, these are.
Reason I'm telling you, hold on. I'm trying to go live on this subject. On the other, I got 2 laptops pulled up, so I'm trying to go live on the other joint.
On the Black Men Discuss page.
Yeah, when we talk about this. So, all right, here we go. I'm about to go live.
Okay. Got you.
All right, boom. I'm up. So, yeah. So, like we talked about last week, I've been doing some research on this, and basically, you know what I'm saying, scientists say that human beings have been around for 200,000 years. So Homo sapiens, what we are today, the original, you know what I'm saying, the black man, what we are today, because we were the first man on the planet. What we are today has been on Earth for 200,000 years, right? So me being a historian by training, you know what I'm saying, by degree, I'm saying I think about certain things a certain way, right? So we follow human history, right? Let's just start where we at right now, right? Follow human history. So it's year 2017. We go back 2,000 years ago. We got the birth of Jesus and all, you know what I'm saying, those times with the Roman Empire and things like that. You go back another 2,000 years, we're talking about Kemet, Sumeria, you know, and those civilizations, you know what I'm saying? Those, we pretty much say the civilization started in Sumeria between the Tigris and Euphrates River. What happened to Banks? Hey, Banks, your joint dropped. But yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, we pretty much say civilization was founded, you know what I'm saying, between the Tigris and Euphrates River. And, you know what I'm saying, from there, that's where we gathered in cities. We started agriculture, all that stuff. And they pretty much date that to about 6,000 years ago, right? So before that, what were we doing, right? We're talking about over 100,000 years of us having the same minds we got today. So we're saying we could take a human being from 100,000 years ago, put him in this time, and he can think the same way that we think. You see what I'm saying? Now, he might not understand technology. He might not understand the thing aspects that we have. But if we took a baby and brought that baby into this time where it don't know anything, it could be able to learn and develop the same way that we could develop now, right? That's what they say. We have the same brain that they have then, right? It only took us. It took us only 8,000 years or so to go from basic agriculture to flying airplanes and going into space, right? So what were we doing for? So you trying to say for 100,000 years or more, 190,000 years, we was just cavemen? You know what I'm saying? We didn't have cities. We didn't have civilization. We wasn't growing our own food. We didn't have technology. That just don't make sense when you think about certain things logically, right? So research I've been doing lately has showed that civilization was founded at the tip of Africa. So you go to Southern Africa, they said that the earliest civilizations, they found actual remnants of cities at the tip of Africa and South Africa. So it's called a book by this dude named Michael Tellinger. He wrote a book called Temples of the African Gods. And basically, they found old stone structures buried underground. They found writings, pottery, all different types of stuff that dates almost 200,000 years ago, which pretty much disrupts the modern concept that we was cavemen in this time, whatever, or just didn't know what the hell was going on. We were not civilized, right?
Got you.
The school of thought is that people are saying that there must have been, the Bible talks about a flood, right? Talks about a great flood. And not even just the Bible, but a lot of great other civilizations have a flood story. If you go to Sumeria, you talk about the Epic of Gilgamesh, and a lot of different other stories from Native American cultures. The Aboriginals have a story about a flood. The Mayans, the Incas, all these different civilizations from all over the world have a story of a flood, right? So that's not unique to just Christianity. So apparently, at some point in time, some sort of catastrophic event happened on the earth that erased human history. And what we talked about last time was that how they found, they say North America, for example. Let's use North America, for example, right? Let's start. I'm gonna go North America, then we're gonna go to the thing. So North America, they say, used to be covered by a complete ice cap, like just like in Antarctica. It's a big ice cap. It used to be an ice cap covered. They think that a comet or a meteor or something hit the ice cap and caused a quick melt off of the ice. So immediately, something came from space, hit the ice cap, disintegrated the ice, and caused it to evaporate into the atmosphere, as well as cause floods on the North American continent. Imagine so there was a civilization during this time that was advanced, because we have stories of Atlantis or Lemieux, all different other ancient mythological civilizations that supposedly existed. They would have been completely wiped out. They said waves would have been over 1,000 feet high. So we're talking about the height of over, you know what I'm saying, 1,000 feet, a tsunami wave. Yeah. Anything in that path is completely wiped out. There's nothing that's going to survive that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find any trace of anything. If you know what I'm saying, if New York City get hit by a 1,000-foot wave today, there is no more New York City. And you'll never know New York City was ever there, because that thing is gone. You see what I'm saying? So imagine if that same thing happened 15 to 20,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So we think this is the first time we've been technologically advanced. Like, we think this is the first time in human history that we've reached this pinnacle where we at right now. But what if we reached this pinnacle several times? You see what I'm saying? If the human being's been on this planet 200,000 years of what we are in this modern form, and the equator and the poles have shifted several times, the climate has changed several times, you know what I'm saying? And it's shown that it takes us between 15 to 20,000 years to get to this point. How many civilizations has there been? How many times have we reached this point? You see what I'm saying?
When you say reach this point, like the invention of the wheel, that can be like, you know what I'm saying, like a point. So what point we talking about? Like this point right here, like technology.
This point right here. How many times have we reached this point right here or beyond? You see what I'm saying? How many times have we reached the point of not being a global species, because human beings is the only species on the planet that is global. We exist on every continent in the entire world. So how many times have we reached being a global species, not just concentrated on a continent of Africa, right? How many times have we reached become a technologically advanced species, right? Because they still don't know how they built the pyramids. They have no idea, right? So obviously, whoever built the pyramids, the previous humans, and not even just the pyramids, there's hundreds of stone structures around the planet that they have no idea how they were built, right? So that gives them the fact that these people were more technologically advanced than we are, because there's no way in hell, it's already been proven, that motherfuckers ain't pulled them shits with no damn rope and pulleys.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you have stone blocks that weigh 2,000 tons. 2,000 tons and more. There's a stone, right? This cut the cake for me right here. There is a stone. It's a like the Washington Monument in DC, right?
Yeah.
That is several different layers of blocks, right? There is one solid piece of stone in Egypt, right? The damn thing weighs 1,000,000 tons. That's 2,000 pounds times 1,000,000. So a damn thing weighs 1,000,000 tons, right? It's one solid piece. It's not cut up into blocks. It's one solid piece. And we talking about they picked this joint up and stood it straight up in the air while pulling on it. How much manpower is required to lift something that weigh over 1,000,000 pounds?
Yeah.
How much manpower is required to do that? It's not in sections. It's one solid block. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, to King to chime in. So basically, what you believe is you believe that everything that we have right now, well, not that you believe, but you're raising the question that everything that we have right now in our presence, this laptop, this cell phone, this light, this furniture I sit on, existed. It's just been destroyed before, basically. Not
in this form. So they might not have had laptops in this form, right? But they had some form of technology. And here's another thing. I can get deep into this, but here's another thing, right? So what is computer chips made out of? What's the number one component in computer chips? I'll tell y'all, it's silicone, right? Silicone is the number one element in computer chips. That's why they call it Silicon Valley in California, right? Because that's where they make all the technology at, right? What do you think is the number one element in stone? Silicone. So
Silicone.
What if you see the stone, you see the writings on the pyramid, right?
Yeah.
And it's etched in stone because stone lasts forever, right? What if there also is a computer program etched on the pyramids? So what if the writing could actually be read by a computer? It is actually digitally encoded like a computer chip. So what if they stored all their knowledge and information in stone, just like we store it on computer chips today, and we just lack the technology to read it off the stone because it's made from the same exact element? That's deep, right?
Word.
That's deep.
I mean,
that's because it's made from the same element. So technically, we could store the rocks in Stonehenge, in Egypt, in Sumeria, could store. We talk about data like gigabytes and terabytes. It could store knowledge of 1,000 years of human history encoded into the stone, and we just don't have the technology to read it yet. But it could be stored.
This is why some people are raising the debate that some people can read actually Kemet Metuneta, and some people are saying that the Metuneta cannot be deciphered. It cannot be read. So when you have these hieroglyphs that's embedded and that's actually put into the pyramid, some of this language that's actually there is made symbolically or put there as a hieroglyph or as a language to be translated to those given a message that we really have not discovered yet, basically. You see what I'm saying? So this could raise another question to like, What if there is a specific amount of knowledge that's out there floating or out there on the pyramids that can open up a gateway to the next dimension, open up the gateway to something that we have not figured out, because we still can't even figure out the goddamn, still can't even figure out how the pyramids was created and how it was actually put here. So we can't even get the basic information and the basic understanding of how it was made. There's no way in hell that we're going to be able to understand the language on it to get the blueprint to basically understand who created it and what is its purpose. It has to be a purpose. Everything is created for a purpose. You don't make something that sculptures with that much symbolism and that much in the science, that pinpoint accurate for nothing. It's put here for a reason. And either there's certain people who know this information, a selective handful, and refuse to reveal it, but they're using it to their advantage economically.
I don't even think it's economically. I don't even think it's economically. And I can get into that too. So, all right, that's like part of my point is that I honestly think that human beings have been created and destroyed several times. A few of us have been allowed to live, and I don't know. We want to say if it was the creator, we want to say it was God, or maybe it was just natural events occurring on the earth. But our civilizations have been wiped out several times, right? At some point in time, the earth hits the reset button, and it will do it again. You see what I'm saying? It will do it again. At some point in time, the poles will switch, whatever it may be. The earth will go through some crazy shit, and we're going to get wiped the fuck out. Maybe a couple thousand of us might survive somewhere and start this shit the fuck over. And we'll loot, and you know what I'm saying? They might develop, and then they'll come and they'll find our cities or some of the shit that we built and be like, what the, you know what I'm saying? What was this? There was
basically, what you're saying is that global warming and all of this stuff has already existed before years ago.
Not even global warming. I think is that we have reached this is not the first time we've reached this pinnacle. I think right now we at a crossroads, right? As far as a human evolution and civilization, right? This is the first time in our knowledge that we've reached the ability to A, get to the stars, B, feed everyone. We actually have a global whatchamacallit where we can actually feed every single person on the planet. We don't do it because money is involved, right? Yeah. But we actually have the ability to create a utopia where everyone can eat, where everyone can have housing. But we choose not to do that based off of capitalism and all the other shit because we just fucked up. Now we're not gonna get into the people and why that stuff exists, right? Because I think the same people that is hiding the knowledge. So like you said there's people out there that might know the knowledge. I think the same people that is hiding this knowledge, right, is also the same people that enforces the systems on this planet that we have of capitalism, of a materialistic society that we have. Because if you find out if we find out the truth about our existence and why we was here and what our ancestors tried to convey to us, right, about what it means to be human and why we actually here, then those things don't matter no more. You no longer live your whole life in pursuit of trying to get a better car or a better job or, you know what I'm saying, or a better house. Those things no longer, you see what I'm saying? Those things no longer matter to you because now you know why you're here. See, most of us live on this rock and have no idea why we here. We just living every day following the systems that was put in place for us because there is no choice. You gotta eat. You see what I'm saying? Choice. Exactly. You gotta feed your family. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you stuck in the wheel. You can't. It's no escaping it. You gotta do what you gotta do because everybody else around you is doing it. But if everybody else woke up at the same time, if we all receive some sort of information that say, "Hey, this shit is wrong. It's not the way you're supposed to be living your life. We're not supposed to be occupying on this planet, doing it this way," then the system no longer works. The matrix falls apart. You see what I'm saying? So if, like I said, if that knowledge does exist, they don't want shit like this to get out there that this ain't the first time we've been here. That are, you know what I'm saying? Or this ain't the first time we reached this point because now the idea of why we here people start to change the way they think. You see what I'm saying? And you don't want people to decide they want to be a part of the system because you got several people that make money and control the world based off the system. You have several families that are in absolute power because they control everyone based off the system. And it's not even the money that they control. See, money is an object that they use to control us. To them, money has no value to them at all. Money has zero value to people that control us. It's only used to
the elite utilizes money to manipulate and to deceive, pretty much. And by doing that, you can control anybody. You see what I'm saying? Because you put a certain value on a particular you put a value on a particular monetized object or system, and then people will fall into it, and now you brainwash motherfuckers to believe in something that doesn't really exist from the beginning.
You brainwash them to believe in things that's not real. You put a value on money, on a piece of paper, but the real things that matter is what they really control. So the real things like land, access to resources, you see what I'm saying? Those things is what they actually control, but they flip a piece of paper to you as if it has real value. When the value does not value, there's no value in the paper. Knowledge, for example, they hide knowledge from you on purpose. That's the real values in knowledge, education, and understanding. But they put paper as if it has a value to your life, which is why no matter how rich some people get, they never find happiness, right? And no matter how rich people get, they never find happiness, right? Like, and you could be broke. I could be broke. You know what I'm saying? We could be broke as fuck and then hit it for $1 billion. And you be happy for a minute, like, yes, I no longer got to struggle again. But you still lonely, or you still upset because money does not fill the void, because that's not what you was put here to do. We were not put on this planet just to make money, because that has no real value. It's fake. It's not real. It's not real.
Life is based upon transparency and tangibility, meaning something that's in front of you that you can actually grab and touch whenever you want to touch and feel it. It has to be there, and it's transparent, it's evident. When I walk outside, I will see the same tree or the same grass every day. It's something that's meaningful. It's something that's tangible. It has a certain meaning and purpose. I can utilize it for certain things, and it can utilize me. Money can disappear. It can be evaporated. It can erase. Much you won't have any control over it, and it won't have any control over you. Yep. But the thought process of it is what is used to actually control you and control your mentality, which essentially that ultimately becomes your demise. So and you 100%.
And you live every day in pursuit of it. You see what I'm saying? Like the most simplest people on this planet are the happiest. You can go to places in the Amazon. You can go to places like Fiji. You can go to real remote places where people still live indigenous, where they have zero concept of money, and they are the happiest people in the world.
The happiest people on this earth,
and the happiest people in this world. Their
lifespan is the longest.
They don't have all these computers. They don't drive all these cars. They don't have none of this shit that's supposedly supposed to make our lives better, make us connect and be more happier. They don't have any of this shit, but they have much better quality of life than we have because that shit don't matter. That tells you for all the technology that we have, for all of the houses, the cars, all that bullshit don't mean nothing. It means something because that's what we was raised into. You see what I'm saying? And it was taught to us that these things have value, but they don't. Like people can't even, right now we having a webcast, we talking, we interacting. Most people can't even look another person in the eye and have a conversation. Like these kids that are growing up now, these kids are growing up now don't even know what it means to approach a woman and tell you like her. They got shit that you can swipe, and I'm only 30. So I ain't even that old, and I already recognize that shit about to be a problem where motherfuckers don't even know how to interact interpersonally with people. Don't even know how to have basic conversations. You see what I'm saying? Don't even know how to have basic conversations. They don't even know what it means to be human, which is like because the shit is supposedly supposed to make our lives better. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when you look at the breakdown, and you evaluate the social dichotomy that we live in, and that people do lack basic interpersonal communication skills. Essentially, we live in a digital era where we've essentially evolved and become technology zombies.
Yep.
It means that we don't have any type of face-to-face capabilities. We don't know how to function, talk. We're not able to see. We're not conscious about our surroundings as far as what's going on around us. Everything that we do and we live in this uncomfortable or this shell that's already been created around us. And now we've become so lost to the point where we get around people, like you say, we have no interaction skills, which essentially it rubs off on our children. Our children become less sociable. At one point in time, people lived in a village. A village was a village, something that everybody took care of, everybody that was around them in that particular village. You had your mother, you had your father, but you had other surrogate mothers and fathers.
Mm-hmm.
That people interacted with one another basically the way you're supposed to be doing. The way that, like we talked about last week, Keem, the way that you were designed to be pre-coded to do. Humans are the only creatures that's on this earth that don't live by a certain what am I looking for, Keem?
We don't live by a certain innate biological code which tell us what to do. So we looking for instructions about what we're supposed to do in our day-to-day life. Everything else is born.
We're really instinctively the structure in which we're supposed to live is already there.
It's already there, and that brings me. This brings me to my other point right here, right? Because I think that what you touched on some really good points, right, about the way we lived and we used to live in the village, right? But the last thing I would say is that we miss it. And it's also, I feel like it's to bring this full circle about where civilization used to be and where we're going, right? The other thing that we are completely out of touch with nature. Most of us don't know anything about nature. So we done lived in cities and stuff our whole life, but don't know anything. We completely out of touch with, like, when is the last time, like, you've been taught that it's dirty, right? To put your feet in the dirt, like to take your shoes and socks off and actually let your feet touch the dirt, right? Like, you actually that's actually good for you. Like, they have already shown that it releases chemicals in your brain when you actually put your bare feet in grass or in the dirt. It's like putting your roots into the ground. Your body loves when you do that. That's why you see a lot of white people walking barefooted. See, white people getting hip to the shit that we lost on some real shit. White people go out into the woods. No, this is real. White people go out into the woods. They go hunting. They go on nature trips, but they go out into the wilderness for 4 or 5 weeks and get away from technology and get back in touch with nature. They hip. They starting to wake up and get hip. We still on that nut shit where they learned this stuff from us. You see what I'm saying? But they hip. Yeah, but I be at work. White people can't wait to take their shoes off. They walk around the office barefoot.
Yeah. And then we see these motherfuckers. Listen, and then we see these motherfuckers, and they walking around with the bare foot on the sidewalks and the cement. And then you look at the feet, like look at the dirty ass feet, like and you look at it and you be like, yo, this shit, them motherfuckers is retarded. Really, from a factual standpoint,
they doing right.
They doing right. They doing essentially what they're supposed to, because really, to be honest, that's based off their history. They were barefooted. They were Neanderthal people in the Caucasus Hills and the Caucasus Mountains. So essentially, that was a part of that's a part of their history. That's a part of their nature, is to be barefooted. For us,
it's a part of our history too, though. That's not. It is.
It's a part of
human. It's part of human makeup. That's what I'm saying. When you get out of touch with nature, we're getting back. We got to get back in touch with nature as well. We got to get back in touch with our nature.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is, we need to be barefooted in a tropical aspect, in a tropical native land, like based off, because that's what we supposed, like the rocks, all those things, aspects like that. Because really, to be honest, you're right, King. Our feet, the underneath of our feet, it is designed. The material of it is designed that's built for the walk outside. Like, as you get used to being barefooted,
your feet toughen up.
Your feet will toughen up. It will become so strong to where you can walk on slate stones and it wouldn't cut that motherfucker.
Yep.
Trust me, I know. My dad said he grew up his whole life till he became 14, 15, barefooted. They couldn't even afford shoes in the country. Yep. So, and I look at his feet now, and his feet look rough as a motherfucker, but them feet were built for that.
Yep.
Like, feet is not supposed to be built to look pretty, to look fashionable. It's really built for to be outside.
It's not supposed to be soft.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
That shit is true, man. It's so many biological aspects that we've gotten away from when it comes to human evolution over time. And I will be one of the first to say it. I do think as time has gone over, I think we are essentially, when you factor in all of the components in which you're supposed to be living from an indigenous standpoint, we have become completely out of sync and out of tune with what our ancestors used to do. I think the direction that we're moving in, it has some advantages, but if you look at it, it doesn't. I mean, look at our lifespan. Our lifespan has shortened. When you look at the history of the ancestors back in the day, these people lived to be almost 200, 300 years. This is what they were supposedly reported to live like.
So they probably lived 600, 700 years old in reports.
Like because they lived stress-free. Their bodies were built to handle the environmental structures in which they were living in. Right now, cancer and autoimmune sicknesses and diseases is such an alarming event, an alarming rate. Our lifespan for our generation, people that's in the 20s and 30s, is the first generation that's not supposed to outlive their mother's generation. That's a scary aspect of when you look at it, because meaning that the average lifespan of our mothers and fathers right now is supposed to be between 65 to 70, maybe 75. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to eclipse past 55 to 60, if that. Yeah. My dad is 55 years old. That means that based on the medical diagnosis of what's going on from a consensus standpoint, motherfuckers is catching high blood pressure in their 20s. They're on high blood pressure medication in their 20s. Type 2 diabetes has become, because everybody has it, just because they're either obese or their diets consist of so many sugars, and their glucose levels and the glycemic levels are so high that they end up catching type 2 diabetes based on their diet. Autoimmune diseases have become the new cancer. And what I mean by the new cancer is when cancer pretty much got discovered, now you have so many different types of cancer. Autoimmune diseases now are becoming more accustomed because of the way of living. At one point in time, people thought autoimmune disease was based on something that was hereditary or something that was pretty much designed or created over time that was passed off the malignance of the cells. Now autoimmune diseases, niggas are catching lupus. Lupus used to be a specific gender-oriented disease, meaning that females were the 90% of the people that catch lupus. Now those percentages have decreased. You have roughly about females are now at between 60 to 70%, meaning that 30 to 40% of males now are getting lupus.
Yeah, I know two people that caught lupus.
Why? Because of their nutritional breakdown. To wrap this up, to put this all into what the connection we're talking about is that we've gotten so much away from our science, our health, our nutrition. We've gotten so much away from the key, essential, basic elements that the ancestors left for us to utilize and do, that yes, we have become dumbed down as a motherfucking civilization. Yes, because we've gotten so far away from instinctively what we're supposed to be doing as humans. We've now created a path in which we live that is the path is so destructional, off track, to where, like Keem said, I don't see how this is going to sustain over time as time evolved and we continue as a human civilization the way we are right now. I can't see it. I can't see it happening.
I'm gonna say this, and I think when I say I think in our lifetime, right, we're gonna reach a critical point in our lifetime. I can't say when it's gonna be, right? But technology is developing at a point where each year it's doubling. I forgot what it's actually called, but it's at an exponential growth where each year the computer that you got this year is doubled in strength by the time you get there next year, right? So that technology is doubling. They're also developing what is called, artificial intelligence or AI, right? So at some point, but at the same time, we are pumping so many pollutants into the air, into the water, into the food. We are so disconnected as far as what it means for us to be human. You see what I'm saying? Based off the global elite and the people who control us, that we are going to reach a critical point where something got to get right. And this is where I think, where I say I think we've been here before, where I feel like we're going to reach this point and either we're going to overcome it and take the next step in what it means to be human and to transcend. And I don't know what that means, because honestly, I don't think, based off who controls the world now, that is ever going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I think the only way that's going to happen is if, indigenous folks and black and brown people get back in control or get back in with some recognition. Whereas if certain nations in the world need to become free again, Africa needs to become free again and stop being dependent on European power. You know what I'm saying? We'll stop being dependent on or being controlled by European powers and shit like that. So a lot of things need to happen. But we at a point where if those things don't happen, right, then I don't think we're going to be able to make the next leap into whatever, we're supposed to be a pinnacle in human history. And before that, the earth might just hit the reset button because we fucking shit up. They projected within 20 to 30 years, 20 to 40 years, that Miami's going to be underneath water if we don't do something about what we're doing. Miami going to be underneath the ocean, the tip of Miami. So Florida going to be down there within the next 30. That's in our lifetime. You see what I'm saying? So if you live in Miami right now, you might want to hit the road. You know what I'm saying? We don't do something. And you got a president right now who's rolling back regulations on environmental protections. You see what I'm saying? You got a country, in China, that pumps out more pollution than all the other countries damn near combined, right? So
that's crazy.
So the shit is going. They already proven that the ocean levels are rising. This has been one of them in our lifetime. This has been one of the mildest winters I've ever seen. We barely got any snow this year.
Barely.
It's been mild. Like, honestly, we almost like we living in Southern California at this point, because it don't get no colder than 30 degrees no more on the East Coast. 35. It don't. This shit so what is going to be in 30 years? 30 years, it might be 60 in motherfucking February.
Exactly.
You might be able to grow oranges in February in motherfucking New York.
So essentially, right, things have shifted and transitioned so much over time, man. Like from as far as what the earth has doing and our involvement with the earth, is that you're right. The motherfucking reset button probably is coming real near.
Like I'm telling you, and it sounds crazy, but the reset button is near because
that's real shit.
Because we're actually a parasitic function to the earth. We're parasitic. We the only creatures that exist outside of nature. We try to control nature. We destroy nature. We destroy other species in nature. You see what I'm saying? And the earth, and if the earth is a big living, breathing organism, like our body is a living, breathing organism, right? And whenever our body catches a virus, it creates a storm inside of you, right? Creates a storm, right? With antibodies that kills whatever it is that's in you. So the earth is a big organism, which we have already been proven the earth is alive, right? And we the virus, but eventually it's going to create that storm. You see what I'm saying? And they got little mini storms now. They've got little mini hurricanes and earthquakes and shit like that. But eventually it's going to create that big storm that's going to get us the fuck up out of here and start over. I'm telling you. Because we don't know how to act, man. We don't know how to act.
Well, pretty much we're gonna wrap it up right there, man. And pretty much to go from there, we got a couple things that we want to touch bases on as far as subject matter next week. And to for those who want to view in, and go ahead, King. You pretty much chime that in and let the viewers know.
Okay. Yeah. So for next week, it was something that I want to look into everybody's next week. Gonna be good, man. So please come back next week. I wanted to get into pedophilia in politics. I've been found out about some deep shit going on within the, the political realm, where you have a lot of these. And I mean, it's not even, and it's been proven. It's just the mainstream media just not putting out there. But I've heard stories of the Clintons funding sex rings and kidnapping children from Haiti and other different parts of third world countries. There's this cat named Podesta, who, remember, I don't know if you guys remember that pizza thing that was going on where the dude drove up to DC and pulled a gun on in the pizza shop. They were saying they was doing shit with kids.
He had
an AK. Yeah. Well, he did that because the dude that owned the pizza shop is a well-known homosexual and pedophile. Has been proven to have these sex parties where they've actually found coded emails where they're talking about having kids in the hot tubs and they're going to have a good time and all this different type of stuff. And he's been associated with Trump. He's been associated with Clinton, and all these different other people. And it's crazy, man. Like you said, DC got all these missing girls and stuff, missing kids going missing in DC. And then we got the sex trafficking and Oregon stealing going on as well. So there's a lot of funky stuff, man, going on that I've been doing research on. I'm gonna have some more research on it next week. But I'm saying, tune back in. We're gonna definitely about that, and we're gonna break.
And what we may end up doing is we may end up tying that in, and then also putting in another funky split. Because like this week, for example, as you can see, what we did is we did the Kendrick Lamar, and then we got into some a little bit more deeper aspect of social consciousness as far as to make you think outside the bubble. And that's the biggest thing about our discussion panel going forward is we don't want to be limited to one specific subject matter, man. We talk about various different things, and we want to be unorthodox with it too, because that keeps people off their on their toes at all aspects, and you don't be limited to one particular social structure in which we're going to be talking about, man. And that gives us a certain level of diversity as well.
And it's natural. And I think it's natural too, because it's natural to talk about one thing. I mean, more than one. So you don't want to sit here and just talk about hip hop, be hip hop heads. I mean, we can talk about everything. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. So for the most part, man, SK, I appreciate you coming through with us this week, man. Hopefully you come back next week. I'm gonna try to get some more brothers to tune in at the bottom as well, man, and be able to build with us as more. So I appreciate you coming through, man, as a guest appearance tonight, man. Much love for that, dog.
No doubt.
And for those who viewed tonight live, I appreciate you watching us, man. We here every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Like I said, we still in the beginning stages right now, man. But this is something that we're gonna be doing going forward. Something we're gonna take serious.
And let them know next.
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. And let them know next week we going live from the new page.
We're going live from Black Men Discuss page. Yes. Yeah. So pretty much that's gonna be the page going forward. This week we use mine because we had some technical difficulties. But the Black Men Discuss page is going to be the main page that we're going to put all the content and the webcast on, so you can go back and watch. And this week, if you want to watch this week one, it's going to be uploaded after I stop the broadcast, as well as the previous two that we did last week. Check it out. Subscribe to Black Men Discuss. We want to get as many subscribers as we can and get this page promoted, as well as subscribe to my personal page right here, which is Street Columnist, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Next week we come back with some more fire, and man, I appreciate y'all investing time into us this evening, man, and we look forward to it next week, man. All right,
peace, family.
All right, bro.
All right, peace, man.